is, are there any differences in the attitudes between English-speaking and Chinese-speaking Singaporeans?
Attitudes towards?
In general, attitudes. Just attitudes in general between them.
If you ask about attitudes towards immigration, I think it's quite interesting. It's what you would describe as same, but different. Let me tell you what I mean. It's a technical term. Same in the sense that I think whether English or Chinese educated, they would be concerned about competition, concerned about the change in the society, environment, concerned about jobs, what's going to happen when their children get into the workforce. But different in the sense that, for example, if you read the English papers, you will find a lot of letters, people who's raising this question about not being able to get served in English, whether it's on a bus, whether it's in a restaurant or in a shop. Why can't the serving people speak English? If you look at the Chinese newspapers, you will not find a similar attitude. Why can't the serving people speak Chinese? Or why can't the expats speak Chinese? So I think the attitudes are not mirror images of one another. From the English point of view, the English-speaking point of view is understandable. I would like to be served in English. I can't. It's a bit awkward. I wish something can be done about this. I think it's also a reflection of their general discomfort at the number of foreign staff whom they're seeing. From the Chinese side, I think the concern is a different one. Language is less of an issue, but culture may still be there. I once had a discussion with a Japanese leader, and I was explaining to him we have Singapore Chinese and Chinese Chinese. We had Singapore Indians and Indian Indians in Singapore. He looked at me in puzzlement because I don't know how the interpreter translated all this into Japanese for his benefit. So I said, yes, Chinese come from China. In Singapore Chinese have grown up in Singapore. So ethnically similar, the same even, but culturally, backgrounds, socializing, not quite the same. Significant differences. So I think Singaporean Chinese are sensitive when they meet a Chinese. And the accent is different, the way you speak, the way you socialize is different. And there's a certain amount of rubbing against one another too, which has to be smoothed away over time. And I think that is more an issue than it is between the Singaporean Chinese and the others. On the other hand, I wouldn't like to give the impression that there's only difficulties between Singaporeans and the foreign arrivals. You take the Indians and the Singapore Indians. You look at SINDA. SINDA has many activities. For example, they have a project called Project RE, which is where volunteers spend time with families, with kids, and once a week you go and spend a couple of hours with a kid reading, teaching him, interacting with him, talking to their family, helping the family to do things with him, and so on. And they have 140 volunteers, very intensive commitment. And of these 140 volunteers, 20% are non-citizens. They are PRs. They have come to Singapore and they've decided it's worth their while. They're going to be engaged. So I think that there are positive and negative sides for both the Chinese and English speaking. And we should look at the half full glass rather than a half empty glass and make sure we pour some more water in and fill it up further.